Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Well, after posting my previous video where I was having a complete meltdown during a cold flash and later on a hot flash, I think a lot of people and a lot of people have thought and called me and said and asked me if I'm okay. So I am okay, guys. So I do have really bad days and I have very good days. And I have days that are like just flat. Nothing good, nothing bad. And I'm just happy that I've made it through the day. So sometimes it gets really bad. But thank you for your concern and thank you for reaching out. And yeah. So today I want to talk about something on the menopause series. So I want to start a new playlist on menopause and mental health. This has been weighing down on my heart as it's something we need to talk about. It's something that it took a long time for me to start talking about it because of the stigma, associated with mental health issues, because of the stigma associated with just getting older already, because I talk so much about menopause. A lot of people look at me like, oh, you're getting old. Yes, I am. But that's not all about me. That's not me getting older at 47 is not a deal breaker. Life hasn't stopped because I'm approaching menopause. No, I'm in perimenopause. It's a phase, and then I'll go to menopause. And yeah, I'll be in post-menopause for the rest of my life. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be talking about lots of things about, menopause and mental health for this coming series and playlist on mental health and menopause. It takes a lot for a person to admit that they're not coping. It's like you're saying you feel it's like you're saying you are weak, and it's like you're saying you don't have it all together. You don't have all your ducks in a row. You don't have all your, in my culture, they say, the wires in your head are not, they are like this. They have short circuited, like like that. You know what happens with electricity? It gets short circuited. So it's like it's almost like you've hot wired your head at some point and there's a short circuit. So it's really, really bad, and we stigmatize people who have mental health issues. Not menopause only, not people in their menopause or perimenopause or postmenopausal stages, but just mental health in general. So it's very hard when you get to a stage where the things that you grew up looking at and talking about as funny or laughing at, or things that are stigmatized, they then start happening to you, and you start to ask yourself, this is really difficult. Who am I going to talk to? So I'm a single mom, and my kids always, they look up to me. I am an academic, I'm a researcher, I work in a big university, the best university in the world. People look up to me. So trying to admit that, definitely I have a short circuit somewhere is very, very difficult. But I found myself having to admit this to my GP and to my children and to a lot of friends and to you now, that yes, there is a short circuit. Something has completely gone wrong. Somewhere, somehow, those wires I have short circuited in my brain. Something has happened to me. And, lo and behold, because of the reading, because of the experiences that I've been going through, I now understand, this is being caused by low estrogen and what estrogen's role is in the body. So now that I have low estrogen, I now understand that, a lot of things are not going to be working the way they should be. We've been talking on this channel about bleeding. We've been talking about, my struggle to lose weight. We've been talking about, supplements. We've been talking about a lot of things that happen during perimenopause. And I decided to just, find out and understand, like, okay, so that's happening. What other things are going on? So mental health is one of the big things. So since 2000 and I think around 22, I really haven't felt myself in my head. In my head, I really haven't felt myself. Like I have turned into this, I'm always on the edge. I'm always anxious. You tell me a story, I think of the worst ending. So I'm no longer like a glass half full kind of person. It's like I'm slowly getting transformed into a glass half empty kind of person. But because now I'm aware of what is going on in my body, I've been doing a lot of work on myself, a lot of talk therapy to try and help myself and make sure that I don't short circuit, I don't fly into a rage, I don't, get low mood and things like that. So, yeah, since 2022, I haven't felt myself. My kids, they now sort of cope around me, which is really really sad, and I feel really embarrassed and really bad that I'm sometimes the crankiest mom in the world. I can fly off the handle because somebody, lo and behold, um, forgot to, bring in the laundry, or forgot a teaspoon in the sink, or the sink is not polished and shiny the way I like it, or they have moved my stuff. So somehow, for me to feel happy and comfortable, I've started to tell my kids, don't touch my desk, don't touch things that I've set around me, especially like now at night. I always film at night most of the time because I like the quietness and the chill. So I always try and tell my kids, leave my stuff where it is. Don't touch it, even if you're cleaning, just leave my corner, I'll clean it myself. Because I've marked my brain, I've told myself this is where my things are and this is what it looks like. So next morning, I don't want to wake up and then things have been moved and I start feeling like I can't find things. Most of the time, they're actually there. But that feeling of someone touched my stuff. They shouldn't have touched my books. They shouldn't have touched my notes. Now they've shifted everything. But that's not what's happening. So, let's have a chat about that. So in the comment section, please tell me what you guys are going through. I know I'm not alone. I've talked to a lot of women who have told me, some people told me that they've never, a friend of mine actually told me, she's 55, she said she's never had a hot flash. She has never, she never gained weight actually. She's 55 now. She's never gained a single pound. She's always kind of happy. But now she was saying she gets it because she's starting to feel the brain fog, like, oh, my brain is slowing down, like what's happening to me. And I was talking to her about, you are she's postmenopausal. I'm like, you're in postmenopause, so most likely it could be, low estrogen. She never actually took any hormone replacement, so she's one of those lucky people who've never had to experience some of the things that we've experienced. She never had bleeding, that kind of person. So it will happen to a lot of people, and let's not be embarrassed to talk about it. And yeah, so it's I saw the saying on Facebook where someone said, I am a woman of a certain age and I'm fragile. And then she put a picture underneath that said, I'm actually not fragile like a china cup. I'm actually fragile. And then she put a picture of something that would explode. I don't want to say the word on YouTube. Something that would explode. And she was like, that's how fragile I am. You don't handle that. Like, you don't play around with it. You see it, you run. Because if you touch it, it's going to explode. So that's how fragile people end up being at some stage during the perimenopausal stage. And a lot of times I wish like the world would stop for me. So sometimes I actually do take a break from the world and just tell my kids, I'm not coming down today bring all my food upstairs. I'm just gonna lie in bed and rest. And no matter how much I lie in bed, I feel like still the world in my head, the physical world might have like kind of stopped because I'm in bed. But in my head, it's still going on and the anxiety is still there. And I'm still thinking, even if I close my eyes, even if I sleep, I sometimes dream weird, it's not hallucinations, but nightmares. That's the word I was looking for. Nightmares. Having, weird nightmares. And I'm like, what's happening? All this anxieties, is coming into my dreams. So sometimes, that causes, I wake up in the morning and I'm already mad at no one in particular, but I'm already really, really, really angry. Like, why did I have to wake up? So a lot of people, let's look at the statistics. What am I talking about? Anxiety, depression, brain fog, morning depression, low mood, a lot of other cognitive issues that happen to a woman. Statistics. So I looked at the UK statistics, and in the UK menopause report, I think it was 2021, it says 45% of women who are in the perimenopausal stage actually report mental health effects that are affecting them at work. And when they looked at the data of these women who are reporting a lot of new mental health issues, it's during the perimenopausal stage, women between the ages of 45 and 55, 45% of them reported something that falls under mental health and is affecting how they work. So you can imagine, if it's affecting how you work, it's also affecting how you live, in the social world. And then 20% of the women say they feel isolated. I feel isolated a lot of times. I mean, a lot of people who can talk to me and tell me, I have a lot of people around me. I have sisters, I have kids, I have friends, and I have, great colleagues and everything. But sometimes I do just feel isolated. And 90% of the women in that report were reported to say they cannot share those things like anxiety or depression or brain fog or low mood or that morning depression or cognitive issues with their friends and family, because they don't feel like they are failing in life, like something is really wrong. So that's why I wanted to start this series on menopause and mental health. I was looking on YouTube and just checking on other people. Are there other people who have reported, people that we actually know who have reported, having mental health issues, lots of anxiety, lots of depression, lots of brain fog during this perimenopausal, menopause, and postmenopausal stages? So, Halle Berry. Lots of people know Halle Berry. She's an award-winning actress. And I've seen her on many, many shows on Good Morning America. And she talks a lot about menopause and some of the mental, challenges that she's gone through and some of the physical challenges that she's gone through. And at one point, she actually had to say at the beginning of a lot of her therapy and a lot of, the solutions to some of her issues, bleeding and so forth, during perimenopause, she actually had to talk to her doctor and give her doctor permission to talk about menopause. She actually literally had to say to her doctor, it's okay to say to me that I'm going through menopause or I'm going through perimenopause. And then she also asked her doctor, like, why? Why can't you just say it? And the doctor said, a lot of people do not want me to tell them that they're in perimenopause. They feel ashamed, they don't like it, they feel like they're getting old, they feel like they're being associated with geriatric, kind of getting old. So I always try to say it indirectly. And she was quite surprised. She did ask a couple of other people, women, they don't like to talk about menopause. I listened to Viola Davis on late night shows in the US, and Viola Davis was talking about some of those, forgetfulness, and her husband asking her if she was doing okay, really doing okay, because she had just left, a dirty bowl of, she ate something, finished, instead of putting it in the dishwasher or in the sink, she put it back in the fridge. And this is unlike her. She's a very smart person. So Viola Davis says her husband stopped her and really asked. Sometimes someone just asks you, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "I'm good." Like, he really, really, really asked it. Take a pause. Tell me if this is a serious problem now that we have in the house of you doing this, because there'd been many, many instances where he's been watching her and he's been seeing these things happening, the forgetfulness, the anxiety and everything. And she was just as, shocked. So sometimes other people pick it up for you and say, you seem to have deteriorated, maybe from the first time we discussed this and we talked about you being in perimenopause or menopause. So yeah, Viola Davis talks about that. It's quite interesting that her husband said, take a deep breath, let's just pause here. Tell me if this is now a problem. Do you need help? And we all need help. And we all know Oprah. So Oprah has dedicated a whole lot of money to just talk about menopause. She has a new show where she just talks about menopause and to just dissect the issues. She has talked about weight loss, about mental health, about bleeding, and to have women, prominent women who are known in society, to just come out and say, yes, I went through menopause, or I am going through perimenopause, or I had these issues like bleeding, I had mental health issues, I had these issues. Just to talk and show people that, someone else has gone through this. It's not something that's unique. It doesn't happen to poor people. It doesn't happen to rich people. It happens to everybody. And recently I also watched something, Michelle Obama, she was talking, I saw it on ABC. She was trying to explain to people how the woman's body is so unique, and all the things that go on in a woman's body is very hard for people to understand. We don't even know what's going on with our bodies. And she talked about, right from the beginning, when we start menstruating, right up to post menopause, right up to the day that we, kick the bucket, we barely understand our bodies. Like, what's going on with me? Because a lot of times we were taught, like, that's normal to have period pains. She said, it's normal for a woman to, like, not express her pain, because we were socialized to, like, suck it up and get on with it. You're a mom now, so you have to do this. Or you're at this stage of your life now, you're in menopause now, so if you get hot flashes, if you get brain fog, that's what happens at that stage in life. You just suck it up and you keep going. And she was advocating for people to come and talk about it. She was advocating for health practitioners to be taught menopause and all these reproductive health issues in women at every level, so that everyone understands what is going on with a woman at any point in their lives. So in this particular, introductory video to this to this part, to this playlist on menopause and mental health, I would like to say, if you are suffering, if you have an issue, or if you feel like it's getting too much, I also saw the statistics on suicide for women who are going through perimenopause, who just feel like, I cannot do this anymore. Please find help. Please, please find help. So to get help, I've put lots of links in the description box of where you can get help just for anything on mental health as a woman, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, or before you even get to perimenopause. There are links, there are people who help. I've done lots of homework, so I'll put as many links as I can for any country I find in the description box so you can get help, and where you can maybe even watch other videos of people talking about the things that maybe you are also going through. So it could be rage, it could be anger, it could be forgetfulness. I will put the links as much as I can find so everyone can get help. And proper diagnosis. Go to your GP. This is a call to action. Go to your doctor, whether you go to your GP, your gynecologist, your nurse practitioner, I don't know, who you normally talk to. The call to action here is to go and get a proper diagnosis, because some people do have mental health issues that are already underlying, that are untreated, and then that get worse during this phase of life, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. So you need to get proper diagnosis, and you need to get proper treatment. And treatment might involve, in my opinion, the most holistic treatment I've seen, treatment modalities mentioned by doctors, is to try get treatment for the mental health issue, to try and get on hormonal replacement therapy if possible for you, and to try and get mental health therapy. Whichever, if you like talk therapy, if you like hypnosis, there's so many treatment modalities you can choose from in this life. So do not suffer in silence. You know your body, listen to your body, go and get the help. Exercise is known. It is a scientific fact that exercise helps with anything to do with mental health, whether it's depression, anxiety, bipolar. It will help you exercise. Diet, and making a lot of lifestyle changes. So I think that's like a holistic kind of approach. So if you can find a practitioner, or to find information on the internet, or wherever it is that you get your health information, definitely not just from a random woman on YouTube. I hope not. Please do get help. And I've also put down, small trackers that will also help you. Try and journal each time you feel low. Link that to your cycle if like you're still menstruating, or if not, link that, just write it down, write the date and what you actually felt. And when you go to your GP, condense it. I have a video that I did to know how to condense information when you go to your GP, so you can make the 10-minute GP or doctor's visit count. A lot of places all over the world, it's not just 10 to 15 minutes with your doctor. So how to make that count. So condense all that information in your journal, take it to your practitioner, and they will be able to see the trends. So pick out the trends and tell them, every morning I just wake up, I get out of bed, and I hear my kids running away because they already know the monster is up. I have morning depression. I just get out of bed and I'm already angry, I'm already depressed, I'm already tired before I even go out. That will help your doctor to know and to diagnose what's going on. Use symptom trackers. I've put links to symptom trackers. Use the one that makes you happy. I have my own. It's in the description box. There's the Canadian menopause as well symptom tracker. I find that extremely simple to use. One from the NHS. So I've just put that in the description box. So stay tuned. In our next video, I'm going to be talking about the role of estrogen in regulating our mental health and how it affects our mental health during this stage of life, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. That reduction in estrogen and how that affects every part of your body, specifically for mental health. And then we're going to talk about as well in this series the different types of therapies that you'll find for mental health for women of a certain age like myself. So stay tuned, go to the playlist, start clicking on videos, and tell me in the comment section, in the description, in the comments, if there is anything else that you want me to cover. I'll also talk about support. We'll also do a video on how to get support from your partner, from your workplace. So it's going to be a long playlist because this has affected me since 2022, and I really feel passionate about talking about this. So yeah, check you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.